This is in continuation with our 8 weeks masterclass on agribusiness. One of the challenges that we find out about agriculture in the Nigerian sector, in the African space, is that basically everybody has been everybody has been just thinking about cultivation, selling in the market. That's all. But people are not thinking about, just think for example, a basket of tomatoes from places like Yobe. How does it get to the market? How does it get to the kitchen of the customer? There are a number of personnel required for such a tomatoes to get to the customer's table. We found out that there's logistics, there's communication, there's marketing, there is sales and promotion, there is quality control, there is packaging. So basically, there's a number of things because the agricultural space is wide enough that it can contain whatever field you find yourself you are doing. So if, for example, you are a marketing executive, there are products that you can pick and market profitably within the agricultural space. So, and that's why we decided to come across, that's why we decided to uh, go ahead with the 8 weeks masterclass. And the first week, we discussed about various agribusiness opportunities that you can do. We talk about the flower business, we talk about the chips business, we talk about the oil business, we talk about that's like nut to oil, we talk about nut to flour, we talk about the poultry business, we talk about farming, we talk about animal husbandry, talk about tech, how you can do drones, how apart from drones, use your tech to create website, apps that you can use in the agricultural space. Last week, which was like the second aspect, we talked about communication. How can you use your communication skills, social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, to promote your agricultural business. But today we are going to be talking about exports and logistics because as much as in Nigeria you take a seed of, let me say you take a stem of bitter leaf, you plant it in the soil, it grows. In fact, let me say I'm in Southwest currently, and my dad plants, what did they call it? He plants the bitter leaf in our compound. After some time, the bitter leaf gets high, it cuts the stem, throw away the leaf and the stem. And that particular product, during my studies, scroll to this meeting. I did my studies. I saw that the amount they are selling the packaged dried bitter leaf in UK, in Malaysia, in other countries of the world is very, very high. In fact, my wife was telling me that can't I use dried bitter leaf? I said, how will I use dried bitter leaf when I'm in Nigeria? To the left, to my right, to the north, south, and around me, I'm seeing fresh bitter leaves. But that's what we have in abundance here in Nigeria. Whereas in other parts of the world, that particular product that we are seeing here is not readily available. If any of us is to travel out of Nigeria, the shores of Nigeria today, and go to a country like even Malaysia, or you go to a country like Azerbaijan, Russia, you won't be finding the same guy we are eating here, like you won't be finding the bitter leaf. So if, for example, you're in the southwest, yeah, you know this um locust beans they call Iru, you won't find it just anywhere. What you'll be seeing there is either the dried locust beans, you'll be getting the locust beans flour, that's the powdered one, because you the fresh one is not really available there, and that is what the export side of it brings. Apart from that, basically, export helps to maximize value. So, if for example you cultivate plantain and you package your plantain into plantain flour, and if you are selling it in Nigeria, I think 1 kg of plantain flour in Nigeria is about 4,000 to 4,005. In UK, in US is around 10K, is around 12,000 naira. So I want you to just understand that agribusiness should be positioned. You should position your agribusiness in a way that it meets international standards. And we are talking about how does it meet international standards? How can you export your simple plantain flour, yam flour, okpa flour? People that in the southeast, you know this okpa, there's a flour, you can export it. Bitter leaf, ugu, ewedu, um, just name it. Whatever it is you can find. Seasmin, there's something they call south salt. That's like sharp sharp. These are exportable products. In fact, me, I'm talking here. I have tried to lay my hands on export one way or the other, but I'm here to just learn more. So I'm just giving you a brief introduction of why we thought we should bring about this program and why the export and logistics is a very good factor, especially in a country where the dollar is commanding a stronger value than the naira. It is a very good point for you to look at exports rather than just selling it just in Nigeria. But without wasting much ado, I would like to bring on our speaker in the house today. But before I do that, understand that here this program is brought to you by Agrodemy, and Agrodemy has various sort of solutions for you. First, we have courses that we have created just to help you start, scale, and sustain your business, irrespective of AI, irrespective of whatever challenges. We are here to tell you opportunities that is available within the agricultural space. So if you know that you've not seen us before, you can kindly just visit um our website at agrodemy.net. You'll find a lot more about that. Aside just the courses, we understand that courses is just like a primary foundation. Basically, you might not uh, get the full gist with courses. So we have decided to do it a step further. So we have consultation that we have brought consultation that we brought for you. That I will match you with the experts in the field. Okay, you want to learn how to export, you want to export, you want to know how to export this particular product. We match you with them where they can take you by the hand and learn. I will tell you for free. The best way to learn is by learning from people that have already done this particular thing before because it helps you to compress time instead of just doing a try and error for like 1, 2, or 3 years, you're able to within 2 months, 3 months, what you should have taken you 3 years with trial and error to have just taken you 2 or 3 months. That's when you lean on people that have already passed through that journey. Aside that, also we have the post camp where we take you to the farm to go and learn real time where you can learn real-time strategy of how you can navigate your way around the agricultural space. We also have tours. Apart from that, also we have the D40, that's like the digital agro officers, where we teach you how you can use social media for your businesses and a lot more. So in case you want to know more, you can just leave a chat in the bot in the chat bot or kindly just send a message to our email at info@agrodemy.net or basically just send me a message on the chat bot. We'll pick it up from there. So without wasting much time, let's how to hand you over to our speaker. Mr. Daniel.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening, sir. Mr. Daniel. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday to you. So basically I have done a little bit of info, but I would like an introduction. I would like to know you, sir. Can you just tell us what you do or a brief history about yourself, sir?
Okay, thank you so much. Good evening, all.
Good evening, sir.
As my guys rightly said, don't mind me. I will actually be so practical and be. I will not. I'm not a motivational speaker, so I'm going to be self-explanatory, and everybody's going to enjoy it. I'm Daniel by name. I'm the founder of Bendown Company Limited. Bendown Company Limited has been in existence since 2016, and apart from that, we've been in the agricultural space for close to 15 years. and then we do production, processing, and packaging, as well as exporting. And by the grace of God, we've been able to train and mentor a lot of small youth, smallholder farmers, the youth, and entrepreneurs. So, in order for them to have a sustainable agribusiness model, we've been able to impart lives, giving them a very practical experience on how they can be able to be self-sufficient in agricultural space. So let me just stop there. So as we go further, then we you will know me more better.
Okay, so thank you, Mr. Daniel. Thank you very much for that information. However, for a naive person, a common man in the street, he has always been hearing that you can export anything. You can export cocoa, charcoal, cashew nut, sesame seed. In fact, there was a time that I hear these books. My friend just called me that it looks like export that is main thing that is going now that he wants to go into export. That he had that once you go into export, the white man will just pay you money, bars, and you will just export and you just hammer. So can you just kindly just give us a brief introduction, like tell us like what exactly is exportation? Why is it important? The Nigerian angle. Why should we look at exports?
Okay, thank you so much. Let me begin by saying thank God that I from the facilitator, my guy here, Mr. Larry, has actually been able to bring down a lot of things about 2 weeks training that has been held. So I'm not going to be going into the general agriculture again. But one of the things that we actually ask us to do as as an agriculturist or as a farmer, because I'm a practical farmer, I always tell people that as a farmer, I will also die as a farmer.
Hmm.
You know why? The people that actually enjoy the world, they are people that enjoy the world through what God has actually given to us in natural resources. This is the
Hmm.
best thing that we can actually enjoy. So, and I will just tell us the first thing I will say is that export is not meant for everybody. I must be very, very blunt. So that at the end of this training, we will be able to sit down and go back to our thinking corner and said, okay, am I really ready for this? You know, I'm not going to be a motivational speaker, but I'm going to tell us the reality of what is going on. Yes, people will say that what is this guy saying? We have been hearing that agriculture is very good and exportation is the key. If truly agriculture is the key, why is he not telling us and export is the source of the fruit? And why is this guy telling us that it's not for everybody? You know, if you are not ready to take risk, I think export is not for you. If you are not ready to allow your products, can you hear me?
Can hear
Hello?
you. Yes, we can hear you.
If you are not ready to allow your product or your money to actually go out in expectation that you are expecting something back in return, and it might be 50-50 sometimes, this training is not meant for you. If you are not ready to take a calculated risk, we have two types of risk. We have the wide risk and calculated risk. This training is not for you. And if you are thinking that it's
You
better
are
I just
barely
focus
audible,
on,
sir.
oh, can you hear me now? Hello?
Yes, we can hear
Hello?
you. Yes, we can hear
Yes.
you.
I said, yes, I said, if you are not ready to take a calculated risk, I'm not sure this training is also fair for you. Exportation, and everybody has been talking about exportation. If I export my plantain flour, I export cocoa, I'm going to collect billions of naira in exchange when we exchange it to from dollar or euro or anything, we are going to be collecting foreign exchange. It's quite true, 100% true from my experience, 100% true. But before someone actually go to that extent of collecting hard currency, there are some things that the person must actually have to do. Number one thing that we actually employ, we have a lot of diversity in agriculture. We have the animal husbandry, we have the crop production. Out of that, animal husbandry, a lot of things. Out of crop production, in fact, it is uncountable. Let me use that word, uncountable things that you can actually do. The first thing that we ask us do is that personally try and understand what is your interest. What did you actually love doing without anybody forcing you to do? What can you be doing that can give you joy? You know, if somebody tell me, go and be doing what's it called? Cocoa farming. I want you to be exporting cocoa. And the person might not be interested in cocoa. He might actually be interested in only animal husbandry. So, but when you are forcing the person doing it, at the end of the day, when the challenges come, the person will be able to tell you that it is Mr. So person that actually asked me to go and do this. I'm not interested at the initial stage. You know, about exportation, I always tell people that money is the last factor of exportation. Please, I beg of you, never think about the money that is the issue. Money is the last thing that you can ever think of. Anything that can give you satisfaction, that can give you joy, no matter how small it is, no matter how big it is something you must be able to try and go into. So, and why agro exports matters? Yes, we have been saying Africa is actually blessed with unique crops in high global demand all over the world. Also, especially when we're talking about Nigeria and West Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa, we have a lot of diverse crops that we can actually export all over the world. In fact, talking about cocoa, cashew, and a lot of a lot of places are in demand of these products. I must tell you also the reality. African is blessed. And another thing that also people actually say is that export brings foreign exchange and boosts rural economies. I'm not going to go about the economical aspects of Nigeria, and we are not doing the theoretical aspect. We are into the practical aspect. The foreign exchange alone, it will actually give you job. How will you actually imagine when maybe somebody's pay you? Maybe let me just put small money. Let me say $100. As that on Thursday, on Tuesday last week or thereabouts, I went to Aboki to buy dollar, and the rate of dollar is sold for me was 1,535 naira. So now imagine if you actually have like something like $1,000. You can actually calculate how many zeros is going to be after 1,535 naira. It will actually give you a lot of joy and satisfaction that I'm actually fulfilled. One of the things that makes exports to be interesting in another way is that the price you actually sell while you are exporting to the other markets will be higher, sometimes twice, three times, even more, four times even higher than what is sold locally. Because why? By the time you actually exchange your money, it's going to be a customer contacted me about some months ago. And while we are actually discussing about this exportation to United States of America, because I wanted to export some product to someone. And the woman actually confessed to me, said, I bought a tuber, only one yam, a tuber of yam. I bought it for $35. 35 pounds. 35 pounds. And if you can calculate that 35 pounds, I think pounds is around maybe 1,700 or 1,800 now. Now multiply it by 35. You know that by the time you actually calculate it, it's money already. You're already getting money. But as good as it is, in the real sense, you have to do some things underground before you can actually be getting this money. Exportation is a good business. Agricultural exportation is a very good business for you to do. At the same time, if you are not ready and prepared for it, you can also make someone to be poor for life. I will be coming to that stage. We have high demand commodities presently in Nigeria and in West Africa that we can actually export. We have the cocoa, we have the sesame seed, we have the hibiscus, we have the ginger, we have the cashew, we have the shea butter, we have the plantain, we have cassava, we have different things that we can actually export. Another thing I will also advise is that in the Hello? Can everybody hear me? Hello?
Yes, I
Hello?
can hear you, sir. I can hear you.
So sorry for the breaking. So if you are going into the exportation, another thing you have to ask yourself is this: am I going into the raw form or am I going into the processed form? The market, international market, is so big, very wide, that it allows everybody to come into play. There is nothing you cannot achieve in exportation. But you have to sit yourself down. This is not something you just sit yourself down and say, they told us about exportation. Let me just go into it. I have cashew. I have something I want to export. Brothers and sisters, if care is not taken, the person will not fall alone. The person will crash because you have to do your due diligence. You have to calculate your pros and the cons. You have to ask yourself if practically you are ready for the business. If not, just sit down in your comfort zone and begin to sell in your local markets. So we also have a global trends. We have rising demand for all the organic and ethnic foods. A lot of places are actually in search for healthy food, organic food, most especially, and also ethnic food. Like myself now, one of the products I actually do and I export as well is a ofada rice. Ofada rice. That is one of my business. I said something before. I said it's either you actually go for the raw products or you go for a process of finished product, which is a processed product. You have to have. Am I going for the raw products? My own line is that I don't want to. I don't have time to be processing all this thing. Let me just package everything and just send it to international companies. Fine, you will get your money, but I put the word "but" there. The way you will command money when process your product is quite different from the way you will actually command money by the time you are sending a raw product. Two things are different. Though, if you look at your raw products, there are a lot of standard you must actually meet. Likewise, the processed products, we are coming to that. Exportation is a very wide course that it can never be studied everything. We cannot study everything per day for a day. We also have the AFCTA and regional trade agreements creating a wider market. Nigeria is part of AFCTA, in whereby there is a free trade from African countries, the sub-Saharan African countries, and the like. Though, to me, according to the statistics, AFCTA is not as Nigeria does not actually tap into it as such, unlike sending their product to international communities like USA, Canada, United Kingdom, European countries, and Asia. Why? Because I think that most of the Nigerians actually believe that there is better market and there is a good foreign exchange for, for agriculturists by the time they actually export to the international countries, unlike the African countries. So, and you can actually see a lot of countries with their peculiarity. Let me give an example. I'll be talking with example. If you go to Netherlands, Netherlands is an European country. Well, some of the products in demand for Netherlands is cashew. In fact, if you have millions of tons of cashew, Netherlands are ready to absorb to receive everything they're interested. If you go to Asian country, just like China, you can actually send sweet potato, Ikonia batatas, Irish potatoes, In fact, if you go to Dubai, say they love Irish potato so much. A lot of countries have their peculiarities. And don't forget, when you are saying you are exporting a product to international communities, know very well that you are not the only player in that sector, in that field. You are competing with international bodies. This one is no longer the Nigerian bodies, not African bodies. You are competing with international bodies. You know why? About was it not 2016 or thereabout? I sent my samples, some of my samples to a colleague of mine in Dubai. I sent plantain, I sent Irish potato, and some other things. Then, do you know the reason why it was rejected? Because it does not meet the international standard. If you look at most of our crops in Nigeria, yes, we say that we are food basket of Africa. We say we have a lot of crops and the likes. But if you look at the quality that is demanded internationally, most Nigerians cannot be able to meet it. You know why? How many persons will be able to plug harvest a product without any disease? Someone actually contacted me about some weeks ago and said that I want to send sweet potato, Eponia batatas. I want to send it to some countries. I told the person, I said, the kind of Eponia batatas, the kind of sweet potatoes you will actually see for exportation is quite different from the one that we are doing here. If you see Nigeria, go to by 12 markets in Lagos State, you will see a lot of sweet potatoes, but all of them, 90% of them are with bruises, they are dirty and the likes. Some person will even say that I will wash it now. But because we have not gotten to an extent that we have a good cultural practices. Where our products are well harvested. Apart from the application, are well. Hello, hello. Can I consider?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can continue.
So most of
Please.
us we have not gotten to extent whereby we can be able to have a good harvesting method. And then we begin to say, my product is actually rejected. And that's the reason why I said, if you did not do a calculated risk in exportation, the same way your product actually goes to the country is the same way it's going to be rejected. And once it is rejected in that country, it's two things are involved. It's either they actually destroy the product over there without you collecting any single kobo, or they will ask you to pay another money for the product to be returned back to your country. Can you now see? Exportation is very, very good, but a lot of conditions have to be met for you to be able to say, I'm enjoying the work or the efforts that I've actually put in place. When we talk about sourcing, building a sustainable sourcing system, quality products win global trust. I repeat again, quality products win global trust. If you are sending a product to international community and your product does not meet the international requirements, I beg of you, the person lose. Let me give an example. If you're sending a product to the United States of America, a lot of quality check and quality control will be taking place. A lot. A lot. In fact, if I tell you a lot of quality that the requirement is going to every product we actually meet, some persons will even say that let me even be comfortable with Nigerian markets. Because America is the pride of the world. Many persons always want to bring their product to America. So they will tell you that before you can actually send the product to our place, every of your products must be quality. They will actually check every single thing. And once they see a little thing, no matter how little you might think. You know, in Nigeria, we can actually go with anything. Any product that they actually send to me, we can actually go. We are good to go. But in that place, it's not like that. It will be rejected, and it will point a signal that any product that you are actually sending again to that place will be thoroughly checked, thoroughly looked in, because you have already raised a red flag while you are exporting your product for the first time. So, but when you go to European countries also look at the what's it called, the quality. But one of the things about the European country is that their documentation must be intact. The documentation that you must be able to provide must be intact. They will make sure they thoroughly check if one single document actually means from your product, from the product you are sending. Automatically, no matter the dollars or the trillions of anything that you actually see, forget it. That is the end of the game. But when you
Yeah,
go to that particular
yes.
countries,
Mr. Daniel.
okay,
Yeah, it looks like the sound is having a little bit of faintness. I don't know if you can kindly just change your position. I'm having
okay,
it somehow faint. I don't know if others are feeling the same thing.
can you hear me now?
Okay, why you do that? Let me just kindly just brief the others that just came in. Today we are talking about agro exports, and Mr. Daniel has been breaking it down to us that export basically it's not just for the faint. It's about you taking a calculated risk. A calculated risk in the sense that you are able to know that this particular product is it something that is befitting for the country you are sending it to. America has their rules. In fact, one of the major one of the major checklists to do as an exporter is that you have got to understand what are the latest updates concerning the country you are sending your products to. US, UK, Canada, Dubai. Are you sending to Malaysia? Are you sending to the UAE? A government comes up with policies on the policy can come anytime. You have got to be keep yourself abreast. That means keep yourself updated about information that okay, they are collecting yam today does not mean that US is collecting yam today does not mean tomorrow they will collect yam. A simple change in policy can actually affect the change of the trajectory. So, Mr. Daniel, I would like Mr. Daniel to continue.
Okay, please, can you hear me now? Please confirm if you can hear me.
Yes, okay now.
Okay, thank you. So, just like to buttress what Mr. Larry just said, there was a plan that Nigeria and some West African countries had with United States of America about 10 years ago. They call it Agro. You know, then it was a seamless exportation from Nigeria to United States of America. In fact, you don't need to pay any tariff whatsoever. Let's send your product to that place, and then once the quality and everything is actually checked,
I
in
don't
fact,
know, but for me, it's still faint here. Oh. Is it only me?
Okay, Mr. Daniel, can you do a favor for me? I don't know if you are using an earpiece or
Maybe
a
let him remove his earpiece and use and put his phone on his speaker.
okay.
It's
Can
very,
you use the speaker because it's faint also?
very faint, very faint.
can you hear me now?
Yes, you can hear
Yeah,
you now.
better. Perfect.
So,
Thank you.
I've removed the speaker.
Oh,
So,
wonderful. Thank you.
the actual stuff that I'm actually discussing, saying, I said, Nigerian actually, West African countries, they signed an agreement with United States of America about 10 years ago about tariff of a thing. And after the 10 years actually elapsed, it was not renewed because why? Donald Trump has actually taken over and imposed a lot of tariff to Nigerian this thing. But that one is not even the problem. Is just kept getting updated information at every point in time. That is what actually matters. But that does not mean that because Donald Trump actually said, the levy is going to be increased, the people should not do this and that. That does not actually deter us not to be able to export. That's in fact, it is what you actually sell to the to bring to the market, your cost of everything. You then calculate. That is what you actually sell. It's not only you. It's globally The same way he actually bring tariff to Nigeria is the same way he brought tariff to China, even though that the tariffs actually differs. But at the end of the day, you see what it is, what you actually put to that place that you actually sell as well. So, well, you have to get a very good sourcing stuff. Your product must actually be quality enough for you to be able to say that, I'm actually having a very good product. And what are the sourcing channels that you can actually get? Most especially when you are dealing with the raw products, you can get them directly from farmers. You know, if you are passing through an aggregator or you are passing through a middleman, the truth of the matter is that the middleman will actually collect his own share of percentage. Middleman does not want to know whether the product is actually this and that. What concerns him is what? Your product. You have collected the product and say, I want to go into sweet potato. I want to go into sweet potato. And then you go into the sweet potato and you say that somebody will get so number of tons for me, and the person actually supply you. What if one of the products is already spoiled? And then by the time you are exporting the products to the country, and that is your one of the product that they actually see, one of the sample, and they just remove that one, and that actually spoil the market. All the other 99% of the products does not concern them. So far they saw that problem in that thing, that one is gone. Ordinary sound alone can make you say to actually reject your product. You can also get through cooperatives and aggregators, though I don't actually to aggregators. Sometimes they will actually charge you a lot of money, but direct from farmers is actually the best thing. Practices for sustainability is to train farmers on quality standard. If you really know that this is what you actually want, I will actually advise that you personally have to train your farmers, the people that you will be buying from, or just tell them, this is the quality of products that I need from you. This is the quality of product that I want. Even though it's going to, if they are selling for other people 1 naira, even though I'm going to pay 1 naira 30 kobo, let me know that I'm buying the original and the quality products from it. So another thing is introduce grading and sorting system. For you to be able to to build a sustainable sourcing system, you have to introduce grading. You have to sort your product. This is not something that somebody will tell you that bring your product and you immediately you just rush to the farm. I have a farm in Yobe, I have a farm in Damaturu, and then you begins to gather, and then you just package everything and just send. Brothers and sisters, you are just deceiving yourself. It might have a challenge. You have to grade your product. This also number of size is not actually advisable. I want to actually send this size, the weight of this. I want to actually send this so. So you have to sit yourself down and look, what are the things that my customers actually want. Do they want 1 kg product if I'm dealing with a processed product? They want a 5 kg product if I'm dealing with a processed product. So you have to look at all those things. Another thing is apply traceability. One of the things that I've actually enjoyed and I'm seeing now is that people always want their products to be traceable. Always want the product they are buying from you to be traceable. They don't just want to buy anything randomly. So you have to sit yourself down, because that is one of the things that is making global exports to be encouraging now, because of the introduction of AI, artificial intelligence. Everybody, one of the product I'm actually dealing with, my processed products, there is a place in the packaging that I put QR code. That QR code will actually take you down to my website. And from that website, you can be able to trace where the product is actually coming from, the states, the local governments, and everything. So you must be able to have a good traceability. When your product actually go to America and they said they scan it and then they'll be able to say, this product is actually from Florida. You know why? One of my customers told me something. He said the Caribbeans have copied most of the product that we are exporting to international communities. Do you know that the Caribbeans are having Gary? They sell Gary. They process Gary. Brazil have Gary. At the end of the day, by the time you actually you send your own products to them, and they now see Caribbean and Gary. Though they will not, some customers will not even be able to know that whether this one is Caribbean or not, because in fact they will even label it Gary the same way you actually label your own. They will do all those things that you actually did as a Nigerian. They will do it, but by the time there is a traceability, they'll say, this product actually come from our place. The Africans in that place, the Nigerians in that place will say, I love this product that is coming from my place. This one is really Jebu Gari. This one is not a Caribbean product. So you must also have a proper storage and preservation. One of the major challenges that we are facing in Africa, in Nigeria, is that most of our products are not properly stored and preserved. By the time the product actually, I went to a seminar last year, and then during the panel discussion, and then someone actually said that she exported Gary to is it not UK or United States of America? You know, exportation actually takes, more especially when you're dealing with the shipping stuff, sometimes 30, 45, sometimes 2 or 3 months, thereabouts. But before the Gary actually got to the country, the destination, the country of destination, everything has actually turned to another thing. Who is to be blamed? Because there is no proper storage. And one of my customers said that I want to be buying ofada rice from your country, and I did some research, and I said, if you are buying ofada rice, if I'm to sell ofada rice to America, you have to pay me more. You know why? Because rice is not something that is totally accepted now in America. For you to be able to send some rice, maybe you are sending rice to America, you have to have a proper quality check. There must be a proper quality check for your product not to be rejected. Because of some weevils and some other things that is going on now. So you have to have a very proper storage and preservation. You must have a reliable transport system, most especially the transport system in Nigeria. By the time you are exporting your product from Nigeria, if you have a good packaging system internationally, when you are sending your products to the global market, you may not actually have that problem as such. But within the country alone, when you are transporting your products, before you actually get to the port that you are sending your products, if you did not have a good transport system, you might actually blame yourself. Another thing I will also discuss is the labeling. Most importantly, when you are dealing with the processed products, the processed product must be well labeled. Do you know that because of the labeling of this thing has made a lot of persons to lose all the financial capital, all the capital they actually raise for their business? Because one particular thing is not listed in the products. Let me give an example. I'm talking through with example, a practical one. One of my customers actually told me, he said, because the person declared organic and it does not actually have a certificate to back it up, the product was rejected. In the labeling, the person just wrote, it's organic product. By the time he got to the international custom officer, they checked the packaging, the labeling. In fact, the packaging was good, and they saw the labeling, and they just saw organic. They asked, okay, where is your organic certificate? Nowhere to show. That disqualified the product. So in terms of your labeling must be accurate. In fact, if there is a word I can, let me just say, near to. The labeling in America is quite different from Canada. The Canada is quite different from European countries. If you look at, there are some packagings, there are some that you can actually use in America, but if you take it to European countries, they will reject it. Why? Because they are more conscious about climatic change. They will tell you that their products, your packaging must be biodegradable, it must be this, it must be that, it must conform to some standard and the likes. So for you to, hello, can you hear me now?
I can hear you. I think it must be eco-friendly.
Thank you, sir. It must be eco-friendly. So by the time you just package your product, we should just package and then you just send your product to that place. Brother, at the end of the day, oh, something might actually happen. So you must research the country you want to send to. Know what they want. Know what they don't want. Know how you can be able to navigate the market and to make those markets actually work for you. Before you can even be saying that, this is the amount I want to sell, before you can even be going for the market, because marketing alone is another sector entirely in exportation. But we are just going into the preliminary aspect of the exportation, whereby getting your products right, doing some basic things that you need to do before you can actually send your products to international community. Thank God for the SON and NAFDAC in Nigeria for the processed products in agriculture. If your product actually pass through NAFDAC, there are some standard of operation practices, SOP, that your product must have actually passed through before they can actually approve your products. So if your products have actually passed through NAFDAC, in fact, applaud yourself, is a one step higher to your dream coming true. Because for your product to actually go to international markets, you have know that, okay, because my product have actually passed through NAFDAC, and then I have been able to do some SOP standard of a thing, then I have been able to do some. Because part of the thing that they will ask you to do in your NAFDAC certification before you can be certified is that your labeling must be right, your packaging must be right, your product must be right, your ingredients must be right, your direction for use must be right, the storage, everything must be right. And that's the reason why many people complain that the problem of NAFDAC is too much. I cannot even bear it. Some persons actually, at the end of the day, when I was doing my own, it took me only 6 months from the processing, from the application to the approval. But some persons, they actually take a longer time. Some persons in the process said they will even reject their products. At the end of the day, you start all over again. So make sure your product actually pass through NAFDAC if you are dealing with a processed product. But if you are not dealing with a processed product, you are dealing with raw product, there are some other organizations that will approve your products. But because of time, we may not be able to deal with all these things today, because I will have actually give you the breakdown of all the organizations that your product must actually pass through, as far as raw product is concerned, as far as export processed products are concerned. So the role of exports in reimagining agriculture, you have to move beyond subsistence farming to value-added agribusiness. If you are dealing with raw products, let me tell you, India has a lot of products that they are sending to international market. I have a lot of contacts of Indians that are sending products to international markets. And you see those guys in India, I'm not discouraging us. They have already prepared their products into international markets. Most especially when you are dealing with a raw product. But when you said, okay, I want to give it a finishing touch, I want to add values to it, I want to process it, know very well. Another challenge of processed products is that it's cost effective. It actually costs a lot of money, because you have to get some machine to process and some other things like that. But you have to ask yourself, am I ready for it? But if you just say that, okay, I just want to be sending small product for now, let me just be sending, most of our people that are in international countries, in diaspora, they normally ask, Yalagbaja, please, can you just send me help me to buy gari, help me to sell bees, all those things, all those small things. Okay, they are part of exportation. We can call it import, mini export. But when you are dealing with the real export, which is the main thing that I'm talking about, you have to get it right. Add values to your products. Export transform farmers into global suppliers. Once anybody know your products, and the first time that your product actually land to international country, brother, let me tell you, you have already penetrated the market. Because before you know it, one recommendation to the other will begins to come. Once people trust your products, you don't need a lot of advert again. I'm telling you, your quality product will now begin to speak for you. But if you do not have a quality product, you begin to talk and talk and talk and talk before anything is being done. So if you have a good product, your problem is half solved. So branding and packaging competitive advantage. Have a good branding. I know in the course of the Mastercard, they are going to tell us more about the branding and the likes. Branding is one of the things that you must not joke with. And in the course of the branding, then you'll be able to apply for your trademark. Your product must be trademark. That is IP protected, intellectual property. It must be protected so that nobody will be able to copy your product or your branding. So you must have a good branding and a packaging. Even if you are packaging yam to international communities, international countries, you must have a good packaging. This thing. I actually sent a product one day through Conga, and along the line, something happened some years ago. So and something happened. By the time the customer could not actually receive, because before it got to that customer, it has actually it took a longer days. The person actually applied, I submitted the product, and at the end of the day, before it got to the place, because it is Abia State and I'm from Lagos State, before it got to that place, in fact, maybe the customer is not even interested. They call the person tired. The person did not even pick. By the time they returned the product, it was shattered. Why? If the packaging is not well structured, is not well positioned, before the product actually gets to the place you are going, everything will have actually scattered. Get it right and get it well. Exports promote innovation. You must have a smart packaging. Now, people, I heard Professor Adeye, the DG of NAFDAC, she said that she's encouraging GMO and the likes. There are some countries till today, they don't like GMO. There are some customers that they don't want GMO in their products when you are dealing with international markets. In fact, some of them will even ask you that, is your product organic? And if you are having an organic product, they will always say, okay, the custom officer will be able to see your certificate of organic. So if it is organic, have the normal document for it, and then be sure that it is organic. People always want to eat something that is natural, not something that is artificial again. So get it right and get it once and for all. So for you to be able to have export readiness checklist, before you start exporting, you must be able to know one or two things that you have to do. You must be able to have your business registration with Nigerian CAC, either BN, business name, or CAC. But most times, when you are dealing with an international market, it is always advisable for you to have a limited liability company. Have a proper name that is being registered. Business name is just like you are just registering someone's this thing. There are some things you cannot actually do with business name alone. Your business must be well incorporated with a limited liability, because you can never apply for Nigerian Export Promotion Council certificate if your business is not a limited liability, at least, or from a corporate. If you are having a business name certificate, it is not going to be accepted. And in the process of your business registration, must have your tax identification number. I won't go into much details about that. Whether we like it or not, Nigeria must be paying. Everybody will be paying now by January next year. So you can never register now. What is now obtained? Last year that I actually applied for NAFDAC, then they did not even ask us of any tax identification number. I just applied and everything. But now, lo and behold, if you want to apply for anything in Nigeria now, I'm telling you for free, your business you must have your TIN. Because in fact, in the portal, in NAFDAC portal, you will see there, if you did not even have TIN, you will never be able to register. So they want to, they will hijack your business. So you must have a TIN. Then after getting your business registration and tax identification number, then you must be able to have your Nigerian Export Promotion Council's export license. At least NEPC license is the most cheapest of all. I must tell you, it's the most cheapest of all. How much will you pay? Is it not about 13,000 plus or thereabouts? It's not up to 15,000 anyway. So, and the advantage of joining those in that group is that it will actually give you leverage, and then you'll be able to know more about exportation. You'll be able to know where are the places I'm going to sell my product to, what are the requirements that is being needed for me to be able to export my product. Then you must also have a product certification like NAFDAC, like SON, like, if most now in the country now is, if you go to some supermarket now, they are now making it mandatory for most of our products, most especially the processed products, to be SON certified and approved. But the major thing that you need to have, at least a minimum requirement for you to export any product that is processed, you must be able to have your NAFDAC listing. And before I forget, if you are dealing with United States of America, I'm sorry for repeating USA, because I love that market very well, and I've been working in that market space. If you go to the market and then, let me say, your product, your production, your manufacturing date, you put in your manufacturing date that you manufacture the product on the 21st of September 2025, and then you put best before, not expiry date. Agricultural product they don't put expiry date. It's best before. That your best before is 2026. That means you are saying it is 1 year validity. Now you are sending the product. You produce the product today. It's not the immediate. It's not immediately that you actually produce the product that you will send immediately. At least it will still take some days before you can actually say you are exporting. Let's say you are so fast and you have all your plans and everything is intact, and then maybe after 7 days you export your product. God so good, depending on the state that you are actually going in America, maybe it takes you maybe 45 days before your product actually gets to that place. Automatically, when you calculate 7 days to it, it's going to 2 months. And then it got to the warehouse. After getting to the warehouse, before you can actually send to the supermarket and the places that you want to actually send to, is taking you close to 3 months. Now, how many months is remaining for the product? For the validity, it's remaining about 9 months. 9 months. And now, God forbid, if the product does not actually move on time, and it gets to like maybe the 6th, 7th month, by the time there's some laws in America, they will tell you that if this product is not minimum of 6 months, they will not accept it. Your product must actually be going to something like 6 months. So I always advise people, by the time you are now applying, because I've actually did a mistake before, and I don't always want people to actually fall into the same mistake, is that when you are applying for the NAFDAC, try and have nothing less than 1.5 to 2 years, so that by the time your product actually gets to that place, all things being equal, you will be able to have nothing less than 1 year as conveniently that it can actually stay in your store. And now, depending on the quality that you actually put there, because if you just put 1 year or 2 years, or you put 3 years, and at the end of the day, your quality, the product is actually changing, the quality is no longer there again, they will destroy your product. It will never get to the destination country again. So get it right and get it well. So the documentation you might actually have to have, you have your pro forma invoice, your packing list, certificate of origin, bill of lading, and the likes. Those ones are later after you have gotten everything right. So before I go further, let me pause, so that if there's 1 or 2 questions that we can actually ask, so that it will also give an avenue for me to be able to buttress more. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. We are so grateful, Mr. Daniel. You said quite a number of things which are very much remarkable. First, you have to know the country you are selling to. You have got to do everything right. Quality, I think even quality is the motto when it comes to exportation because you are not there. What is there is
Yes,
your product. If your
yes,
product is not quality enough, it's like a huge turn off, as you said, and can be a very big risk because a number of people can get your product and not your product might not be able to even get to the supplier. This okay, someone is raising up his hand for his question, but before he speaks, let me just let him go ahead. Mr. Dio, please can you have the floor? Yeah, thank you. Good evening.
All right, good evening, sir, and good evening to our presenter. Thank you, sir, for
Yes,
good
good
the
evening.
evening, sir.
insightful presentation. Yeah, my question is how do one ensure that consistently one is able to have access to funding? No, that's my number one question. Playing in the export space is it requires some high amount of funds to. How can one have access to funds? Then number two is that I've been hearing that people join cooperative, export cooperative. Is it something accessible for someone that is starting up, or is just a gated community that people don't have access and someone has to recommend? Is it something like that? I think those are my two questions. Thank you.
Thank you
Okay,
very much, sir.
you.
Let me quickly respond to that. You know, the cooperatives, there are a lot of cooperatives that you can actually join, but you know, uh, but you have to look at the values of that cooperative. A lot of cooperatives are on board, but what are the values? What are they into? But there is a it's not a cooperative anyway, anyway, but it's just like a body. I learned about one is the Nigerian Association of Exporters, Nigerian Exporters, something this thing. I think you can actually join that. I will try and Google it, and I say Google. I will look at my book, and then maybe later we share with Mr. Larry, so you can just get it from him. So you can actually register from there. They have different packages. Those ones they will actually give you the market and some other things like that. So that one, by the way, for the cooperatives. But you have to understand the value of the cooperative because sometimes they will be telling you some things, but it might actually be different. But when we talk about financing, which I'm very, very much interested, you know, a lot of persons before we actually go into exportation, the first thing we actually put in place is finance. Sometimes I've actually been in that space, oh, let me be frank with you. But I now later knew that finance is in fact it's even the last thing that you can even think of. The truth of the matter is that let me tell you the secrets. There is finance ready for this thing. A lot, at least if I did not know, I know about one or two, three, four, five international bodies that are ready to sponsor. But it must be a quality product. Nigerian banks might not be able to do that because they will never be able to take a risk. Reason because you are just new to the market. You don't have your one have not gotten the name like Dangote and the likes that they can actually even borrow you the money and go and sleep. But there are some international communities. At least there was a year that I actually wrote to Euroazim Bank. I drafted the letter and I sent them an email, and they responded back. Those ones they can actually give you letter of credit, they can give you invoice balancing and some other things. I also have a particular international organization based in United Kingdom. They will also give you If you are dealing, I'm talking about finance, I'm talking about practical. I will not tell you theory because in my space, uh, they will actually give you an invoice financing, and that invoice financing they finance over close to over $2 million over. And the beauty of it is that number one, there is no collateral, no guarantor. Another beauty, I'm not speaking, this is something that I am there. It's not something that I'm just telling you fiction and something they said no. And that is why I said this is a practical class. No guarantor, and immediately your products, you have a customer internationally, they verify the customer, you submit your bill of landing, your pro forma invoice and everything. What they will do is this: they will buy your invoice. That company will buy your invoice, and immediately within before 24 hours, they will credit your money into your account. Let me tell you, regardless of the dollar, no matter the dollar, or I'm telling you, it's not a matter of mouth. They will pay you immediately once they have verified everything about the stuff. And it does not take them more than even 1 to 2 days. They will verify everything, and they will, in fact, in their platform, you will be able to even have your account. They will send the money inside your account immediately, your dollar inside. So what they now do is that once they actually send you the money, because they have actually bought they bought the invoice from you. When the customer actually pay back, maybe it's 30 days or 60 days or 90 days, as the case may be, they will have their own percentage interest rate anyway. Immediately the customer actually pay, he will not pay the money to you. It will be paid to them, and the remaining balance will now be forwarded back to you. Are you getting me now? I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
It's well,
Hello.
I understand.
Very clear.
So what they will now do is that they are just like a middle. But instead of you to be struggling, this how am I going to get money for this thing? How am I doing? They will pay the money to your account. And immediately they pay the money to your account, it has start counting. That means every of your this thing must have actually been well structured. You must actually have everything on ground, so that by the time the person send the products to the you send the product, your all the money that you are going to this thing that is going is it covers your product, it covers your labor, it covers your shipment, it covers everything down to the free on board, down to the place that the destination, the country of destination. You must have calculated everything. So those are the money that they will actually pay. But you have to sit down before and say that, if you say that, I want to charge this thing high, it will not determine how much is your product. I don't know if you're getting me. So those things will actually, but if we are talking about funding, I must tell you the funding is available internationally. But the thing there is that you must get everything right before they can make a provision for the money. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. I think you mentioned the first. I think he wrote something, and the other company in UK. You didn't mention the names. I won't mind if you go.
I will,
Let us
I
have
will,
the
I will,
names.
I will
Like to
inform
read
Mr.
about
Lang.
it. Okay,
It's a confidential stuff.
it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. All right, thank you.
Thank
You're
you
welcome.
very much, Mr. Daya. I know that's like a focus area you want to venture into. Mr. Daniel, if
Yes,
someone
ma'am.
is to start today as a Nigerian in year 2025, what is the lowest capital that somebody can use to start an export business?
Okay, thank you very much, sir. It's a practical question, and let me answer it practically. It determine number one on your interest. Like myself now, when I'm dealing, the processed product, the three processed product that I'm actually dealing with now, ofada rice, unripe plantain flour, and garri jebu. So, and the raw products, the cashew and the likes. So the thing there is this: you have to ask yourself, what is my interest? My own interest might be different from your interest. Number two, you must be able to know who are my target audience. Let me tell you for free not everybody is your target audience.
Yeah, that's true.
Are you sending your products to, to customers, or you are going to be sending your product to B2B? Are you going to be into B2B? Let me give an example. If you are sending your cashew nuts, you are not going to be targeting, I'm not sure you are going to be targeting B2C. You are going to be targeting
To
B2B.
be to be.
So you must be able to understand your target audience. Not everybody is your customer. Get it right. So once you now know your customers, then you will now be able to ask yourself, what are the various resources that are within my disposal that I can be able to leverage on? Because before anybody can actually support you, you must have actually carried yourself to some extent. So when you have when the resources that is available for you at your disposal is actually to some extent, then you can now be able to know that I can be able to now do what I want to do. So I will not be able to tell you that you can start with 100 naira, you can start with this and that. But when you identify those factors, then you will not be able to take yourself down. Okay, let me start small and then let me think big. But getting the customer right, I'm targeting a friend of mine that is in UK. That guy, if I actually send my product to the person, I know that there is a lot of a little bit trust, because the truth of the matter is that trust is the major problem. One of the major problem.
Mhm.
You only trust
You know, it, you,
anybody.
you know that in Nigeria, basically, if there's like the white people, if you send money to Nigeria, they know the Nigeria can jump out with the money and not send the products, basically. So I understand the trust issues, basically.
So as I was saying, the trust is actually there, but the thing there is that you have to sit on that. That was the reason why I said in the beginning of the study, I said exportation is not meant for everybody, and it can actually make somebody to get money on time. At the same time, it can make the person to be poor. If they say stinkingly poor for life, it's just like a forex. But this one is well structured, because
Now,
sometimes you may not be able to know the customer that you are selling to. Sometimes, except if you are advanced to some extent, maybe you have been traveling and then you know your customers. There are sometimes you may not be able to know, you may not have even seen the person. So you must be able to know what are the little space I can actually start. But I will advise that if you are a first timer, try and start small. The little time you actually start, by the time you are building the market, looking at these people, this person is trustworthy, begins to test the person, let people understand your products. Let there be visibility. What you need now is visibility of your product. By the time your product is now visible and people know the quality of your product, you will not be, in fact, you will not be there. The Nigerians in diaspora or those people that you are selling to are the one that will be giving them the recommendation. And I've tried this product is good. I like this brand. Before you know it, someone will just contact and say that, are you Mr. So person? Can you supply us so number of this thing? Because of why? You have built your market from somewhere. But if you say that you just want to go and start big, because most of us we actually start, we always want to dream big. It's very good, but if you start big and then you did not do everything right, the person will crash. Oh, yeah. In fact, they can't crash in there. In fact, that is the reason why some people actually they poison themselves and the like. So to answer the question in a nutshell, start small that you actually have within your space. Thank you.
okay, thank you, Mr. Daniel. But I have two things I want to ask you straight
Okay,
up.
sir.
The first one is that seriously, I know that the export business is a very big business, and it's not something that I feel that we can even use 2 hours to discuss, because you've not said a number of things about how do we start sourcing customers, how do we market, how do we, who are the people that can help us to ship our product and the rest. I understand that. So I want to ask you, is there a way that if anybody among our community wants to know more about export, is there a way you can come that train and coach them?
No problem, sir. Just go through Mr. Larry, Agrodemy.
Okay.
Agrodemy.
Okay, that's the
Agri.
first one. Then the second one also is that aside this 8 weeks that we are actually running, if we call you probably later in the dying weeks of the program, can you just come and just a round up probably so we can just so that we can know the missing link, and is this something that we you can again come and help us out with ideas and what to go about in the sports space? Can you come
Okay,
around it?
so, no, I don't have any problem. According to what the Agrodemy actually say, I will respond.
Thank you very much. We have been talking about agro exports, how you can common product that you can sell. There's bitter leaf, there's ugu, there is sesame seed, there's cashew. But basically, Mr. Daniel has emphasized to us.
I want to ask a question.
Okay, okay.
Okay,
Mr.
My question is always when I think I have attended some classes of exports previously, and this one is actually very educative too. But I think the tutors of export class are very, very harsh because of how delicate the business is. But as Nigerians and as starters, we need to be motivated and be encouraged that to an extent there is some level of simplicity to it so that we won't be seeing the complexity and be scared or be discouraged that we cannot really do. We want to be actually motivated. So maybe give us a simple example that we will understand that yes, we can start from here, then maybe continue to learn gradually and move forward.
thank you very much. Thank you very, very much, sir. You know, I personally, I don't like. It's not that it's not good to motivate. Yes, it's very, very good. If you look at motivational speaker, they will tell you, uh, if you put this thing, you'll be able to get 1 million, all those things. And in reality, it's quite different. But what I will actually say is this: start small. You see your brother that is in other country. You see your sister that is outside the country. Tell the person anytime you need a product, agricultural product, I want to be sending to you. I think that is the sleep, the lowest way you can start from. You know, Tell the person, even if it is 1,000 naira that you actually get from each of the product that you actually sell, that you send to the person, you have already created an awareness. Because the reason why most of the export class market is always somehow like this is that the risk involved. If I did not tell you the risk involved when you are dealing with a big export market, exportation, if I did not tell you the risk involved, I just tell you that everything is good, if it's free and that, at the end of the day, if the person crash, you may not even see me, but you will cost me at the end of the day. That someone said is as easy as ABC, but it was not like that. So the thing there is this: start small in your little space. If you don't have the enough resources and the materials, everything, every of those things, so just start small. Call your friends and family in overseas that I can supply you so products, or call a friend that can you help me to look for a market that I can actually be supplying so number of things. So from that, if you can get your friends and family, you know that that person is somehow trust, you actually trust the person, then it will be more easier if the person actually help you to get the market. It's just like it's going to be a middleman between you, at least for a start. At least something will actually work in that way. Another thing is this: if you know you cannot be exporting a branded product that is your own, that you are not the owner, you can leverage with a company, with an organization, and then you'll be buying from them and you will be doing the exportation, because they have already gotten the NAFDAC certification and some other things. If the person actually know that he cannot actually be able to do that. So another thing is that If the person now said know that I cannot even go with all this export, I don't even have somebody, or I cannot even go. If it is raw material, raw product that you can actually go with it. The only challenge there is that most times when we are dealing with raw products, most times they normally ask for a larger quantities, just like cashew nut and the likes. But if you are dealing with, because when we are talking about locust beans, Iru is a process, is a finished product. And the market is not like what you are talking about, something maybe a branded product that can be on the shelf. For your product to be for that locust beans to be certified, you have to pass through all the NAFDAC procedures. And that procedures, if you see the document you collect, I'm not scaring you. It's a very simple thing. No, I did everything myself. Let me tell you the truth. I did my processing myself. In fact, at a point in time when the NAFDAC was not actually the approval was not coming through, I must tell you the reality between God and myself and you. I actually have to petition the DG. And immediately I got to their office and they said, are you so person company? I said yes. They said you are the one that have written to DG. Do you know that it was that week that I got my approval, my NAFDAC approval certificate? Nigerians might actually be somehow technical anyhow, but you have to get some things right and start, no matter how little, start small. If you have it in mind that you want to actually do something, you want to export, yes, it's a very good thing, but start something within your space, and before you know it, you will get there. I don't know if I've answered your question.
You've answered it. I think let me just have one or the other to just buttress your point. Uh, there is reality and there is myth and fable. In fact, most times when I listen to commentary, Facebook advertisement on export, the way they play it is as if it's a plug and play. As much as it is plug and play, you have got to be um you have got to know the reality before you can make money in the export space. The currency they spend mostly in the export space is not naira, it's not dollars, it is trust. If they don't trust you, as at now, currently as I speak, we as Nigerians, we know that our identity in the outside world, it's not that very good. They don't trust us from year to year. So before you can say you want to start doing an export business where you are sending in even a 5 kg of Jabu Gari, 5 kg of father rice to US, to Canada, and the West, the thing they will first ask you, can I trust this person? That's why they will always tell you, send the product first. Once we get the product, they will send you the money. Because they know if they send in Nigeria the money, there is tendency that they might not get the product, and there is no way how they can attack or come and pick you up, especially if you don't even have a registered complaint, or you are trying to go uh you don't have somebody over there. As he has correctly said, the easiest route is, for example, you went to secondary school, you went to primary school, you went to university, do you have a brother there, do you have a cousin there? Shut up with them, ask them, please, I can send you Gary, I can send you your father rights, I can just make sure you leverage on the relationship you have. From there, you can now expand into, okay, can you introduce me to your association? Can you introduce me to your club, to your house, to the church you go to? And from there, it's a good way to start. So that's just my own 1 or 2 cents. Mr. Daniel, I want us to expand this meeting that much because I know there's still a number of things to discuss. So I'll just like you to just share 1 or 2 things you have for us. We have beginners here, we have students here, we have people that want to go in big time. They want to go and crush it big time. So what's like a word that you have for us?
The thing there is this. Before I actually go to that, I want to say something. Consistency is the key. Consistency. Your product that you actually send to someone must be consistent. The quality must be consistent. One of the things that actually makes some people to reject products is that the first sample, the first product you actually send to them is a very good product. But by the time you are sending the second, third, fourth, fifth one, in fact, they will even be mad at the person. So ensure your product is consistent. So to answer the question Mr. Larry said, let me just say, you have to think global, but you have to start local. Think global and start local. My own is not academics. Is if you know you want to start exportation, understanding your space, understanding your interest, understanding the resources and the raw materials or the finished product that you actually want to go into actually goes a long way. If you say you want to go into what's it called, cashew, and then maybe you are in the north, and you know very well that the one of the best places you can actually get your cashew is Ogbomoso, you have to go there and make a lot of enquiries. Oh. In fact, you have to eat with those farmers. You have to wine with them. Don't, I will always encourage people. I'm a farmer for over 15 years. Don't ever go to the farm or the name that, yeah, I'm a big boy in town. I just want to start exportation. If you go to them, they will, in fact, they will give you more problem that you actually think. Go as a person that is one of them. Go to the farmers directly. Eat with them, interact with them, make friends with them. Take them as your family. Before you know it, most of the available things, even when the thing is not available, they can connect with their friends and they will make your product available, no matter the time that you actually tell them. So, as a beginner, start small and think big. As someone that has actually been a small exporter, you can do better by the finance. I want to always tell people, in fact, finance should not actually be your major problem. In fact, this thing about finance is something that I have been having a lot of challenges over the years, but it was a day that it was finally solved. So finance is not the problem at all as far as I'm concerned in Nigeria to export your product, but you have to get everything right. Make sure the pros and cons were well noted and worked on before you get the store. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Daniel. We are so grateful to have you. In case you want to know more how you can start this export business as a beginner, you want to know more, there's consultation that you can meet up with us for a consultation section, which you can have with Mr. Daniel on how you can move from where you are to where you want to be. You want to be like Mr. Daniel and the rest. And we are going to actually schedule that for you. It's just for a talking fee, it's not that expensive, anyways. Besides, you know that anything of value command at least you have to pay for it. Thank you once again. Today it comes to the end of the Agro Exports. So we are looking at next week to bring in an exciting angle to the agri business, and that's like the agro storage business. In this agro storage business, it's about you um, getting the products from the farmer during the season and trying to keep it for some moment, then like get some ROI. It might not be much, but at least it's going to help you make money in the agricultural space. So I would like you the same time next week, 6 o'clock, and you will be sure that you will get value for the time. To everyone that has made it today, I am very grateful. The recording of this meeting will be sent to you on your mail. Likewise, the other meeting too will be sent to your mail this week, hopefully before Wednesday. Before Wednesday, so kindly keep and if this meeting was actually very lucrative, was for value of valuable to you, please kindly share with your friends. Kindly invite your friends, invite your colleagues, invite your family people to come and learn more how they can make more money, how their cultural space can help them harness their potential. So once again, I'm very grateful. I wish you a very, very great week ahead. Mr. Daniel, thank you very much. We are so grateful. We at Agrodemy, we are very grateful. Thank you very much. My regards to the family and everyone at home. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, bye bye, sir. Bye bye.